Mr. Owen. Thanks for sitting down with us today.
Thanks for bringing me back.
No problem. You don't look a day over 25.
Oh, thanks.
Is it okay if I ask you a few questions about your life?
Sure.
All right, so according to Wikipedia, your father was in a circus and your mother was a famous singer.
I don't think that one's right. I've been dead for a while, and that's not right.
Oh man, scratch that then. Oh, I see. Your father, Thomas, was a former seaman who returned from India to marry Susan Shaw, your mother.
Yep, that one's true. My father became a low-paid railroad station worker, and my mother kind of felt constrained by her marriage.
And you were close with your mom?
Yes, indeed. I helped her take care of my younger siblings, and especially my sister Mary, because she was small as a baby, and the doctors didn't think she was going to live. And then my brother William was born, and then Colin, my youngest brother, suffered from rickets. So helped my mom kind of with all that.
Sounds like quite a crew.
Sure does.
Yeah. So, Mr. Owen, growing up, did you always know you wanted to be a writer?
I knew from an early age that I loved to write. I wanted to write, but my father didn't always believe that it was practical. So most of the time during my childhood, I was working with the church. And then later, I taught in France for 2 years. 1 year at Berlitz School and 1 year as a freelance tutor.
So, you became uncertain about Christianity, right? Like when you were working and living with the church?
Yeah, I had some tragic things happen in my life, and I was kind of like, is this all for me, this whole Christianity thing?
And so from the research that I've done about you and your life, because I'm very interested in it, it says that in October of 1915, you enlisted with the Artist Rifles and you began your Army training. And then from what I have read, it says you got a little uncertain about things with your conflicting beliefs. So after you got injured and you ended up in the hospital, you were still uncertain about things. So what began to push you toward writing?
So when I was in the hospital after the war, Dr. Brock kind of encouraged me to write because he had seen a couple things I'd written. And I got a lot of my ideas from my best friend, Sassoon, who's also a big influence on my life. And he'll say he doesn't take credit for a lot of my writing, but I think he was a big impact on my writing.
So for those who aren't really sure about what you're writing about, like they don't have much knowledge, how would you describe your work to the common reader?
My poems are a combination of different literary techniques that conveys my conflicting feelings and experiences gained from the war, as well as others in England and Europe during World War I. I wrote about my conflicts, about going back to war, life-changing experiences, battlefield experiences, and even my uncertainties with Christianity.
Interesting. Get away from your writing a little bit and ask more of a personal question about different attitudes towards things. So what makes Wilfred Owen angry? If you had to pick one thing that you just, makes you roll in your grave, what would it be?
I think it's pretty easy for me. Women. In fact, later in my life, I wrote poetry using some negative feelings toward women.
The women are crazy.
Yeah, in the Army, I actually felt closer to other guys, and I felt like that influenced something in my life. So.
Okay, I got one more question for you, Mr. Owen. What is your favorite poem? If you had to pick one poem that you've written, which would be your favorite?
Dulce et decorum est. Favorite, by far.
By far. Oh, bold words. Aren't they making a movie about that poem?
I don't know. I'm dead.
Touche. Good point.
But if they were, I'd definitely encourage people to read my poem first before they watch the short film.
That definitely makes sense, just to get an idea first, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's all we have for you, Mr. Owen. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you.